Hello, all you lovers out there. My name is Cindy, and you're watching Dress to Invest. Valentine's Day is approaching, and nothing is sexier than a financially sound household, which is why today we're going to discuss how to budget with your boo and strip down to your bare numbers together. Let me guess, you've been living with your partner for a while now. You try to split your bills down the middle the best you can, but neither of you actually know what the other has in savings, debts, or even a close enough ballpark to their actual annual income. The stance you're doing in selectively forthcoming land will only get you so far. Simply splitting your bills does not make for an open and honest conversation about the real picture. If you want to go the distance, you've got to get vulnerable with each other, spill the beans on what's really going on, and commit to moving forward as a team. Creating a comprehensive budget with your partner is the critical first step in successfully navigating major relationship milestones, such as moving in together, getting married, buying a home, or starting a family. A shared budget is the best way to measure your combined efforts, plan for an affordable lifestyle, and direct the course of your financial future together. The most important thing to remember is that a budget serves as a plan for your money. And like all plans, it should be discussed, tweaked, and revisited often to ensure that you both reach your end goals. First, you need to determine the expenses that you will share as part of the household. Generally, you should aim to split all costs associated with housing and groceries. Depending on where your relationship is at, this might also include other shared expenses, such as streaming services, a shared car, a pet, and of course your children. It's really important to nail this first step. There has to be a mutual understanding of what should be covered under the household expenses. So if you own a car that only one of you uses, then it's not exactly fair to expect your partner to share the cost. But on that note, even fully shared expenses, such as rent, might not justify a 50-50 split, which brings us to step number 2. Most couples will attempt to split their household expenses evenly by default, but this isn't necessarily fair to both partners. Often, one of you makes more than the other, and 50% of the expenses may be crippling to the one who makes less money. You know, like when you go out for dinner with a friend and you actively avoid ordering things like an appetizer or a second drink because, bless your soul, you're actually trying to commit to a budget and spend within your means. Good for you. But then the bill comes, and Janet's the one who ordered a steak and 4 margaritas, yet she suggests you split the bill evenly. Okay, Janet, get a grip. She racked up 70% of that bill and should pay her fair share, am I right? Likewise, as a couple managing a household budget, contributing a fair percentage in proportion to your income is a better way to handle your shared expenses. For example, let's say your partner earns a net annual income of $40,000 and you earn $60,000. For a total net household income of $100,000 a year. Respectively, this means you and your partner account for a 40-60 split in income. Therefore, the proportional and fair split in household expenses should also be 40-60, not 50-50. This way, you both end up paying exactly equal amounts in proportion to your income. Take a look. Based on that example, if total shared expenses cost $3,000 a month, your partner pays $1,200 and you pay $1,800, but you're both paying an equal 3% relative to your annual income. The next step is to open up a joint checking account. Now, to be clear, this isn't a necessary step, but it is quite helpful in helping to keep your personal and household expenses tidy and separate. This account should be dedicated specifically for your shared household expenses. You should both be signers on the account and have a set date or dates where you each make your proportionate deposits into the account to cover the household bills. Essentially, the goal is to protect your personal funds if your partner makes poor financial decisions throughout the month. Because as long as you're each depositing your fair share of the household expenses into the joint account, what they do with their remaining personal funds is a separate conversation. But at least it prevents you from having to run up a credit card balance or dip into your savings to cover your partner's share. Now that you've come to an agreement about what the shared household expenses are, it goes without saying that you are personally responsible for everything else you spend your money on. from personal care items, clothing and entertainment, to medical expenses, debts, and loans. Additionally, you should each aim to take responsibility for your own retirement and emergency savings. Depending on whether or not you're married, it might make sense to include these two items as part of the household conversation. But let's be honest, marriage isn't always happily ever after, so it's a good idea to ensure that you can personally plan and account for your own future. Well, now that I've revved you up with all this fiscally responsible sexy talk, we'll call it a wrap so that you can get to wrapping it up for your partner. But before I go, a fun fact that I must share. Valentine's Day is also my cat's birthday. Her name is Lily and she's turning 14 this year. She's a lusciously plump and happy senior cat living her best life with a steady retirement pension of snacks and snuggles. Happy birthday, Lily. Thanks for watching, and I'm wishing you all a happy and consensual Valentine's Day. Catch you next week.